Hi all, my name is Rinki Rathor. I'm having 4 years of experience in AWS and DevOps. So today I've brought you a series of sessions on AWS where you will learn from scratch up to a point where you can utilize AWS in your day-to-day work. So let's begin. Today's agenda would be we would be covering cloud computing model, types of deployment, what cloud is, how it came into picture. Then we would deep dive into AWS Cloud specifically, and we would also look like how we can create a free tier AWS account. Then we will move on to AWS IAM service, covering how we can create users there, and then we will move on to regions, AZs, and AWS billing. So in today's session, we would be restricting our concepts towards till the AWS billing. So let us start. All the modern computing in today's world revolves around a basic client server model. So let us understand what a client server model is. A client places a request, and this request goes to a server, and a server calculates or does some processing, and then it gives back a response to the client. Let us understand it with the help of a simple example. You open Flipkart application on your mobile phone, so that Flipkart application is the client. On that application, let us say you search for Puma shoes. That search that you are typing there is a request. This request would go over the internet to some server, and that server will do some processing. It will search out all the Puma shoes available, and then it will show you a list of all the Puma shoes available. So that page on which you are able to see all the available Puma shoes, that is the response given by the server. So this way, I guess you would have understood a basic client server model. So everything in the cloud computing revolves around this basic model. A client places a request over the internet, it goes to server, and then server returns a request. So we would deep dive into how these servers are managed, what these servers are. Till now, let me give you a brief intro about server. A server would be anything, any physical computer or machine that would do some processing or would have hosted some application. It would take some input and will provide you some output. So that is about servers. So let us say we develop an application. That could be any kind of application. Maybe it is predicting weather, or it is to like count the number of attendees which are daily visiting our office. Any kind of application. So that application, once it is developed, it is to be hosted on some computer. So let us say we have developed the application. Now to host that application, we are having two choices. Either we can host that application on computer systems in our own office, or either we can use the another option, which is cloud. So let us understand what these two options are. First is the on-premise. On-premise means a company is using its own environment, like it is having computer systems installed in a separate building. They have bought up separate building, and on that building they have brought all the infrastructure. By infrastructure, I mean everything, starting from all the physical machines, the storage devices, your networking, your power supply, everything, your CPU. So all that has been brought up and set up by the company itself, and they are maintaining it as well. Now whenever they would develop any application, they would host that application on those data center. Let us call it as a on-premise data center. So they have to themselves manage and maintain those servers, all the machines out there, the power supply, a dedicated team would be there, right? That is called as a on-premise. But in today's world, we do not do that. We actually use another option, that is cloud. So what do? We actually rent those servers. That is, we deploy our applications on the like servers which are available virtually to us by the help of cloud. And those data centers, like I would deploy an application, but on a server which I am not sure where it would be physically present, but I am only having its credentials so that I would be able to log in into that server. But where that server physically resides, I am not sure. So that is why it is called as a virtual machine or a virtual server, or we call it as uh, inside the cloud we are deploying our application. So these are the two deployment models, and we would be looking more into the cloud option, like how does this cloud computing works in the real world. So let us move on to the next slide. Like here in the image I couldn't resist myself like pasting this picture. Here you could see these are the servers, like all the machinery set up. There would be a lot of wires. So this man is like fixing something if something goes wrong. So it is like a person is not a person, there would be a dedicated team. They would be maintaining and managing their data center before the cloud. If anything happens, power supply, all that stuff. But in today's world, we do not need to manage this stuff. So before the cloud, what would happen? I Let us say we all need infrastructure to deploy our applications, and for those applications, let us take the example of Flipkart. Flipkart usually has a normal traffic, like the number of customers visiting their websites are normal. But what would happen during certain
I had one question in between. Can you list down any company which provides cloud? Like infrastructure, you talked about the virtual server and those machines. So, is there any company who does this?
yeah, we will actually look about those in the coming slides, but there are many vendors like AWS, GCP, Azure, Salesforce. These are the companies, large, massive companies. They've already bought all the infrastructure and their servers are online. Okay, so let us move on. So before the cloud, what was the scenario? Like I was talking about an example of Flipkart, like on weekends or on holidays when they put up some sale, like Big Billion Days. So on those particular times of the year, there would be large, or I can say huge traffic on their websites. So how would they handle sudden increase in load? Website could crash like in these peak times. So what would these websites or these companies do? They would actually buy extra infrastructure so that they could manage that sudden increase in load. So buying this extra infrastructure was a problem. Definitely it is a problem even today, because uh, companies even do not have the money to buy even the basic infrastructure. How could they buy the extra infrastructure? And what would that extra infrastructure do for the rest of the time? It would sit idle, it wouldn't be of any use. And also we would need a dedicated infra team to maintain all that infrastructure. So what if we can rent this infrastructure? That is cloud computing. So certain companies came up like Amazon, GCP, Google, Azure. So what they did, they bought the infrastructure, the hardware machinery in large quantity, and they bought the buildings, and also they have like placed or set up their data centers in those buildings across the world, and their servers are online. They are also providing certain services with it, that is I can use it. For example, let us say you need 500 virtual machines, you need 500 servers, 500 machines. You just create an account on AWS or GCP or Azure, you log into your account, you just place a request. Within few clicks you would be having access to those 500 machines. Now all this stuff is gone, like you don't need to buy anything. So this on demand delivery, that is when I need it, I can just get it. This on demand delivery of it resources basically here mean all the infrastructure and the services as well over the internet. And the pricing model is pay as you go. That is, you would pay for only those services which you would be using, and for only that particular period of time that you would be using it. So this is cloud computing. So here are some of the cloud computing providers. We call them cloud service providers. So here are the advantages. We don't have to spend money on data centers. We can go global in minutes. Like I can uh, host my application in any region of the world in which AWS is providing its data centers. I do not have to guess the capacity, like how much infrastructure I would need in future. And also, I benefit from the massive economies of scale, that is AWS provides it at a cheaper rate, because it is also getting it at a cheaper rate because it is purchasing it in bulk. Then it increases speed. I do not have to set up anything manually. I am getting it online already. So here, let us talk more about AWS. So AWS is Amazon Web Services. It is a subsidiary of Amazon company, and it is providing its web services to us. So it is one of the leading cloud service providers. It has over 200 plus services. Let us say you need 2000 terabytes of storage. Within few clicks, you can just get it. Let us say you need it today, and say after 2 days you do not need it. You can just release them back, and you would pay only for what you used, and that is very at a very cheaper cost. So that is what AWS is providing us. So this was about AWS Cloud. These are the data centers of like AWS in Navi Mumbai. This is the building. This is from inside how it looks. This is a logo of AWS. I found it pretty, so I pasted it here. So hope you get it. Like AWS has already done this hard part. All the, like, let us say you need a database, Postgres database. Now what will matter, what are you doing with that database, what kind of application are you building? So you need to focus on the kind of application code. You do not need to focus on how can you get that database. That part is already taken care of by these cloud providers. So AWS will provide you ready to use a Postgres database. You can use it directly. So let us get started. Like, do you have any questions till now?
Yes, one question. That means whatever we
Yeah.
will use on the cloud itself, so that will have something in the behind, then there will be physical devices, correct? Like if you are running any virtual machine, if you are creating any of the database or any of the services which is being provided by the cloud, and we are consuming that service. So behind that particular
Yeah.
service, there will be a
Mhm.
but there will be a physical device behind that, correct?
Yeah, there would definitely be a physical device somewhere
Okay,
in some of the data center.
okay,
Application cannot run on air. An application, if I need to run it, I definitely need some hardware device. So that is available to us virtually. Virtually, I mean that I cannot have physical access to that machine. I only have the logical access, the virtual access. I can access that machine, I can log into that machines from sitting here.
okay,
That is what I mean by virtual.
okay.
You got it right.
Yeah. Thank
So let us get started with AWS. So AWS is having so many services that you will get confused initially which one to use. And for that, let us actually get started. This is the website aws.amazon.com. We will just visit there. We will see how to create a free tier account. Then we will sign into our console, and let me just go to the website itself. Let us type aws.amazon.com. Let us see what it brings. So here, this is the Amazon Web Services homepage. So we can, like, there are many things we can, like, browse here the solutions, the pricing, documentation if you want to learn. But let us sign in. Here, sign into the console. By clicking on sign into the console, I can directly log in to my AWS account. And on logging in, I would log in to this page. This is the AWS console page. But if you want to get started with AWS, what you would need, you need to create your free tier account. So in order to create your free tier account, I have noted all the steps. Let me just go there. And tell you more about, like, these are the steps. In these 5 steps, you would be ready with your AWS account. So before you try to create your account, let me tell you that you need three things. First, a valid email address of which you are having access. Second, your mobile number. And the third one is any debit or credit card. Any debit or credit card is required to create even a free tire account. I repeat. So this would be mandatory while creating AWS, because yeah, you were saying something.
No, no, I was saying, okay. So credit card will
Okay.
be required for any of the free account creation.
Yeah, there are three types of account creation. Any kind of account you want to create, like there are three basic. Second one is developer, and the third one is business account. So you would need a valid, uh, what you say, a debit or a credit card.
So,
So this is the first step. It would ask you for an email ID. You would place your email ID, then your account name, then you would verify it. It will send a verification code to your email ID. You need to put that. Then it asks you for your contact information. You need to place your mobile number, your country, your address, pin code, everything. Then you click OK. Then it asks for billing information. That is your debit or credit card. You can enter all the details like expiration date, security code. That is your CVV, your name, cardholder name. Then you can save the card, or you can uncheck this as well. Then billing address, you can use this one, use my contact address. Then you can enter your PAN details if you want to, or you can simply choose no. Then when you click on verify, it will ask you for a payment of rupees 2 as of now through your entered credit or debit card. Okay, so you will need to enter your code. After you successfully finish this payment, then it will redirect you to step 4. This step 4 is your mobile number verification. You need to enter your mobile number. You need to type this captcha. Then it will send you an SMS, like a verification code or OTP. You need to verify it. Then step 5, you need to choose out of these three plans any plan. But I would suggest you first go with the free basic tier. On signing up for free, you click on complete sign up, and then you just click on the console, go to console, and then you would be able to see something like this. Don't worry if you do not see anything here. It just places some services here which I have already visited. Now let us explore what this whole console is about. From here, you can see your account ID. There are certain settings. Here you can sign out and sign in again. Here are all the regions in which AWS has its services. Each region has a name, has a mnemonic. US East North Virginia is denoted by US East 1. Ohio is denoted by US East 2. Let us say it is having data centers in Mumbai. So in Mumbai region, the Mumbai region is denoted by AP South 1. So you have to select a region here. Now here it is a help option. You can just click on the support center to get some help if you need something. Then here are the details. You can select your light or dark theme. Then here are the services, all the services, like these are the recently visited one. These are compute services. Compute services are the services by which you get access to some machine like your computer, where you can host your application or your database or any other thing. Then the developers might be knowing about the containerization world. So in case of containers, we are having three services: ECR, ECS and EKS. This is a registry, like where we place our Docker images. And there are also databases. People might be like uh, excited to know that there are AWS managed databases, and there are many different kinds, like not only RDS, but there's a thing called DynamoDB. It's very exciting and interesting and easy to use. So there are all the like robotics, ML, AI. They have many different services. So this was our, and also you could see here cost. Like last month it costed me around $1. I've submitted the bill already. And for this month, costs are quite low because I haven't done much on AWS using this account.
So it's free,
So let
free
us,
account, correct? Still there is a
yeah,
charges.
each yeah, it is a free account, but if you use certain services which are like which have cost associated with them, so it will definitely charge you. So before using the AWS services, you need to check what all charge it can cost you.
Okay.
Okay, so I have used certain services like Elastic IP address and certain EC2 instances. I guess most of the audience are not aware of about this, but I've used some services like which are chargeable. Hence, I got the bill. That's a very meager bill, around like something around 100 rupees or so. So let us move back to the PPT here. We have completed the steps. We have completed the sign up. Then the services. One of the important services of AWS is AWS IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So it's like we are having AWS account, and there are from the same account I can create many users. I can create groups of those users. I can create policies. I can create roles. So those I can give access to those users, to those groups, to those roles, and like in order to manage the access to a particular or to every resource in the AWS, I can use IAM service. That is a very important service. That is where I have kept it first. And also, there are two types of accesses. First is the programmatic access, and the second is the console access. I'll explain it while we will be on AWS console. So here is a representation: users, a physical person, a group, usually a group of a collection of users, a role. It is like anyone can assume a role once created, and I attach policies or permissions. Policies are nothing, just your permissions to each of these entities. So let us move to this AWS. You can find AWS IAM service from here, or you can just type IAM here. You type it, and here you go. It is opening in another tab. Ugh. So let it open. This is my IAM dashboard. From here, you can access everything. Now, let me tell you one thing about users. There are two types of users in AWS. First is a root user, and the second ones are the IAM users. The root user is the user from which you have created the account. Like I have created this account with my email ID, with some email ID. So that account, like, is the root user account. It would have all the accesses, like it has all the powers. I can even close my AWS account through this user. That is the root user. It is very powerful user. And I can create other users. Those users will be called as IAM users because they would be created through IAM service. Initially, I would be single user, that is the root user through which I have signed into my console. Secondly, I can create multiple users by using this IAM service. I would be calling those users as IAM users. So here under access management, here don't worry about these numbers. You might see 0, 1 or something like that. Must be 0 initially when you would log in for the first time. So let us go to users. All these users are IAM users. We can associate permissions or policies. Policies are nothing but the permissions with these users. So I can group these users under user groups, like as admin or dev. Then I can create certain roles. So we were on users. I've explained you that we can create users, associate policies or permissions with these users, and then we can group these users under user groups. So one advantage of user groups is that, let us say there are 30 or 40 users, 30 or 40 developers, and I would create a user, say dev 1, dev 2, dev 3, dev 4, and I would be assigning the permissions to each of them manually. Like I would create dev 1, I would assign permissions to it. Then I would create dev 2, I would assign permissions to it. And later on, let us say if I have to remove permissions from them, I would have to manage them individually. So what I can do instead, I can go to groups, I can create a group. Let us say we are creating a group of developers, and then we can attach some policies like read only for S3. I'm creating a group. I'm not attaching the user as of now to it. I am just creating a group, and I have attached a policy S3 read only, and I create a group. Group got created with the name developers. So permissions defined. Let us see what are all the permissions here. There are no users as of now. The permissions are, we have attached S3 read only, and then we can add all other permissions or policies here, but as of now leave it. Let us create a user, and then we will assign it. Let us say dev1. Here you can like provide access to the console management, or you do not want to provide console to your access management. Then I want to create an IAM user. We are creating an IAM user. Password, let us say I give a custom password as of now. Then I uncheck this box, because if you left it as checked, then what it would do, that once a user gets created, it will on sign up, it will ask the user to change the password, and that user is not having the uh, permission to change the password, so it would like be contradictory. So just uncheck this one. You create a custom password, username, the policy, and then we just click on next. You're not attaching any uh, policy or permission to it. I can add it to a group. Let me add it to developers. Next, tags, ignore it, just create. Remember to download the CSV file, so that in future if you forget this one, let us download the CSV file. Here, this is the URL that you would be using to sign in with this user and password. The username is dev1, and its password would be something that I have typed. So this is the URL which I can use to log in to my AWS account. Let us say it logs in. Because I've already logged in with my root user, it will just sign into the console. Let us, okay, it has signed me out. So here you can see this is the account ID.
Yes.
Reload. Now you need to enter the username. What was the username? Username was dev1, then the password, then you can sign in.
So that means if I suppose I have created a free account, then I can create multiple users, as many users as I want. Like I have 10,
Yeah,
I have 10 to 20 friends, and I have created users for all of them. And then all of us can use the same account, same free account. Is it like that?
yeah. The account is same, but the user is different. Their
Yes.
permissions would be different.
Yeah. Okay.
So this user, like as you have seen, the user had no access, but only S3 service. So here you can see access denied. The user cannot see what all applications are running, what is the cost and usage. Let us see EC2. Let us visit EC2 itself. User won't be able to see or like create an EC2 instance
Okay.
because we have not given any permission. API error. It means the user is not having any permission.
Yeah.
But if you go to S3,
We just get
because
the
you have given
permission.
permission, yeah, we had just given the permissions of S3, so the user would be able to like create a bucket as well. I can create bucket. So all this is allowed. So let me tell you another way to log into the same account with
Can
this
can
user.
can that user can create the bucket as well? If you can, I think the
Can
permission,
create bucket.
yeah, the
No,
permission given was
with
user.
read only. Yeah, it was only read only. If there would be any buckets, those buckets would be visible to that particular to that particular user.
Okay.
So let us say sign in. You visit AWS console, not the AWS console, but aws.amazon.in. Then click on, now here you need to like enter your account ID.
Okay.
That account ID, which was root users. Then you can give the IAM user name, then your password. I forgot to copy the account ID, so let me just sign in using the root user. By signing in from your root user, you only need your email ID and your password.
Okay.
When you would be signing it with IAM, either you use that particular link which is having that account number in it, or you just copy this account ID and paste it there while signing in. There are two ways.
Okay.
So let us move back to our IAM discussion. We have created a user, we have created a dev1 user, we have attached it to a group called developers. Similarly, like I want to give administrator permission to certain VP level or employees, or I can say to our managers. So what I can do, I can create a group with name admin. I can give permissions for administrator access, and I can create user and attach that user in this group. So these were the users and these are the user groups. Let us move towards roles. These are predefined roles which are created by AWS. So this is like I am full, AS3 full. These are created by this particular account, this particular user, this root user. This is nothing but your account number. So these can be created by a person, or either these are AWS provided. Then there are certain policies which we would be knowing more when we would be when we would deep dive into more AWS services. So till now, like, are you having any questions related to AWS IAM or something related to AWS till now? Also,
Is
one
it?
more thing.
Yes.
Yeah, one point remaining that is important. Like any user you would be creating would be global. That is, I created a user when I logged in from the I guess from the North Virginia region, but this service is global. That is, you created a user, that user would be accessible across all the regions. So
Yeah.
IAM service is global.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, as we can say in the URL itself, it's the US system. It's the North
Yeah,
Virginia.
that is a region through which I logged in.
Okay.
But this service is global, that whatever I did here with any user or any group, it will get reflected across all the regions. So it is a global service.
So okay. If you log in through the Mumbai region, so I can't the same user, correct?
Yeah, even though you would like see global here, you cannot select a specific region here.
Okay.
Okay, because then it would be very cumbersome to manage all the users in different regions and providing different or same permissions across different regions. So hence it is global.
So,
And another thing, like we would wrap up just, I can just IAM users.
One more
There are
question.
two types of users.
One more question.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
create multiple users with the same name?
You can create multiple users with the same name. Let us try. Here is a user one. Let us try to create another user with the same name. Let us see if it allows us or not. I want to create an IAM user, custom password, then uncheck this box and let us try to create it. Did it allow?
No.
It says that a user one already exists. Please use a different name. Because it is a global service, in one account, the username should be unique.
Okay.
So you cannot create users with the same name. Yeah, I want to
So
leave.
what if I have two people who have the same name and I want to create users for them? What can I do?
You can just give their names like you can just give different names, like you can write like Manish Kumar 1, then Manish Kumar 2, or something like that. Use their email IDs. Obviously their email IDs would be different, so you can use the mnemonics from their email IDs or something like that, but it should be unique.
Okay.
And one query I left it for you to explore, that I would like to have answer or guesses from you in the next session. Let us say I created a user and I assigned him policies. And what policy? That is, I assigned him a policy for S3 full read.
Okay.
Not only read, but S3 full access, like this one.
Okay.
And I attached another policy which denies that S3 access. So what would happen, like what is the actual permission of that particular user? Will it be having all the access to that S3, or will it not be able to access S3, or like what happens? Like you can explore and get the answer in the next session. Or you want to guess in the same section, in the same session? We are moving towards the end of our slides.
Okay. So you will mean like one out of two policies in one policy, I'm mentioning that that particular user will have
Allows.
all the S3
Yeah.
access, S3 full access, correct? And in the
And the second is denying
second
all the access.
don't have any access to S3, correct?
Yeah. Or let us say I created two groups. Like I created one group which is allowing the access, and I created another group which is denying the access. And I attached the user to both the groups. So, which policy would get reflected to that particular user? Like, will it be allowed, or will it be won't it be allowed? So you can explore more by yourself and get the answer in the next session.
Okay.